Hi guys, it's been a long time since I've talked to y'all, so I hope you are all doing well. Today I wanted to talk about something I came across as I was writing a psychology paper on personality disorders, and that is avoidant personality disorders. So this is the book, Understanding Personality Disorders by, I don't know how to pronounce this name, D-U-A-N-E-L Daubert. There you can see for yourself. And it just kind of gives brief little tidbits about each of the personality disorders. So if you're writing a psych paper over personality disorders, I would highly recommend this book. And so the reason I wanted to talk about avoidant personality avoidant personality disorder is because I happen to notice that it shares a lot of the same symptoms with social anxiety disorder. So I'm going to go ahead and read you the symptoms. 1. Avoids occupational activities that involve significant interpersonal contact because of fears of criticism, disapproval, or rejection. 2. Is unwilling to get involved with people unless certain of being liked. 3. Shows restraint within intimate relationship because of being shamed or ridiculed. 4. Is preoccupied with being criticized or rejected in social situations. 5. Is inhibited in new interpersonal situations because of feelings of inadequacy. 6. Views self as socially inept, personally unappealing, or inferior to others. 7. Is unusually reluctant to take personal risks or to engage in any new activities because they may prove embarrassing. So that sounds a lot like social anxiety disorder. So I got to thinking, what's the difference, And it turns out more than half the time, I think the internet said something like 54% of the time, so take that with a grain of salt because it came from the internet. I am having a really hard time talking today, guys. 54% of the time, people are diagnosed with both social anxiety disorder and avoidant personality disorder. So it just caught my curiosity, what is the difference? So now I'm going to read you the Google definition of social anxiety disorder. It says symptoms may include excessive fear of situations in which one may be judged, worry about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending someone. And as we know, it also comes with a lot of physical sensations such as tummy aches. I get bad tension in my shoulders, so I have chronic backaches, headaches, lightheadedness, heart palpitations, chest tightness. The list goes on and on. But what I don't see listed with regular social anxiety disorder is the presence of a low self-esteem. So while people with social anxiety disorder probably do have a low self-esteem, it isn't one of the requirements listed. And I think because self-esteem is so connected to our personality, that's why it is a part of avoidant personality disorder. And so looking at this, I also wanted to take a look at Erikson's psychoanalytical theory. Now, Erikson studied under Sigmund Freud, and if you know me, you will know that I absolutely cannot stand Sigmund Freud. But Erikson actually came up with some pretty cool ideas. And looking at this just through young adulthood, which is the stage I am at in my life, we've got autonomy versus shame and doubt, 1 to 3 years old. A child born with social anxiety is not going to develop in the positive way. Trust versus mistrust, birth to 1-year-old. Again, so you can pretty much just expect a child with social anxiety to develop mistrust and then go on to develop the shame and doubt. And the next stage, 3 to 6 years, is initiative versus guilt. Initiative and social anxiety are not something that go together, so that leaves you with guilt. Industry versus inferiority, 6 to 11 years. It's safe to say that due to my social anxiety, I was on the inferiority end. Next is identity versus role confusion in adolescence. This one doesn't really have anything to do with anxiety. And young adulthood, intimacy versus isolation, which does have a little bit to do with anxiety, just because anxiety has a way of isolating you from other people. You won't get involved unless you know you're going to be liked. So when I was asked out, I was 18 and incredibly hesitant because I'm like, is this a joke? I didn't know what to expect, and I had a lot of anxiety because I was like, what if she doesn't like me, what if, just a lot of what ifs, and that was the fear. What if she doesn't like me? What if I just embarrass myself? And I'm still with her, and it's developed into a really good, healthy relationship, but my anxiety really held me back a lot at first because I was trying not to make a fool out of myself. And so I've got this working theory that due to these psychoanalytic stages of Erickson's, my personality just developed into an anxious personality. And it's not just like having anxiety that can be cured. I know one of my therapists thought they would be able to cure me completely from anxiety. More than one of my therapists thought they would be able to completely cure me of anxiety, but I've just come to accept that I'm not going to turn into somebody who isn't anxious. And that's what drew me to avoidant personality disorder. You'll notice if you Google anxious personality, avoidant personality disorder is what you get. And avoidant personality disorder really can't be diagnosed until adulthood, like pretty much every other personality disorder, I think. And it calls for like a stable pattern of that over your lifetime. So I've had a stable pattern of avoiding occupational activities that involve significant interpersonal contact. I had a job at Randall's, I've probably mentioned before, and it was just the worst thing for my anxiety. And it wasn't really my choice. It was kind of forced on me. Most people with anxiety and therapy, getting that exposure would help, but for me it just made things so much worse. So much so that I was just so mortified of getting my next job because I already knew how bad it was for me. I'm not necessarily unwilling to get involved with people unless certain of being liked, but if I sense kind of that they don't like me, I will instantly back off and probably just drop all contact. Because, you know, you don't want to be with someone you think doesn't like you. Like, as a friend in a relationship, you just, I mean, unless the feeling's like totally mutual and you don't like them back, but then, like, why would you do that? I definitely showed restraint within my intimate relationship, because I was afraid of making a fool of myself and just embarrassing myself. Constantly preoccupied with being criticized or rejected. And yeah, I do view myself as socially inept. I just view myself as the socially awkward person who just tries but doesn't quite get things right. And, you know, that's why for my second job, I chose to work with dogs. Dog person. Because dogs generally don't criticize or reject you. They can bite you and they can pee on you. But, I'd much rather deal with that than deal with potential criticism or rejection from customers. Because if you've worked in retail at all, customers are the worst thing in the world. Like, I've been a customer, I try to be a nice customer. Not all people are like that. Like, that is such a wild concept to my anxious mind, like, that not all people are nice. Like, how do you just not be nice? How do you just walk into a store and be rude? I don't know. I don't know how those people think they have like the overconfidence to just go in and be rude to whoever is serving you. Like, okay, mini rant over. So I think I've just developed a very anxious personality. I don't think there's ever going to be a time that I'm not anxious, especially considering I'm on 5 milligrams of Valium a day and I still get anxious. I'm doing some more intensive DBT with my new therapist, so I think that'll be good for me and my anxiety. But this is why CBT just is where it is lacking for me, because CBT is normally great for anxiety, but it's like trying to get rid of the anxiety. DBT is about accepting it and trying to minimize the harm it does to you. And so that's why, with my experience, DBT has helped me a lot more than CBT. So yeah, that's my video for today, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Don't message me, because I am not only socially inept, I am computer inept, and I can't figure out how to answer my messages. So yeah, I hope I was able to give y'all sort of a brief understanding of avoidant personality disorder and what it really is. And I hope y'all take care. Bye.